Hello, dear ladies, dear gentlemen. Welcome to Hellenic Echo. Another episode today, a voice of Hellenism, culture, civilization, and spirit, reaching Hellenas all over the world through Solomos Web Radio TV. I'm your host, Sissy Osia Sigioultzi, and I invite you to take a deep breath, open your heart, and join me on a journey of intellect, emotion, memory, and poetry. Coin management for today. You ask how to spend the 3 coins left in your pocket. With the first, buy bread and 3 olives to taste what the ascetic practices. With the second, buy a pruning shears to cut thorns and barb a wire. With the third, buy a rose for the girl, but keep a rose petal to study the beauty. Διαχείριση κερμάτων. In a Greek version. Ρωτάς πώς να ξοδέψεις τα 3 κέρματα που ξέμειναν στην τσέπη. Με το ένα αγόρασε ψωμί και 3 ελιές, να γευτείς όσο ο ασκητής ασκείται. Με το δεύτερο αγόρασε κλαδευτήρι, να κόβεις αγκάθια και σειρματοπλέγματα. Με το τρίτο αγόρασε στη Νέα Ρόδο, μακράτα ροδοπέταλο να μελετάς το κάλος. Today's broadcast is dedicated to a rare personality of modern Hellenism, a man who proves that science and sentiment, logic and lyricism can not only coexist, but uplift one another. We honor Iosifidis, a Cypriot mathematician, economist, statistician, public servant, and at the same time a poet, essayist, translator, cultural advocate, and humanist. Life and legacy. Iosifidis, born in Larnaca, studied mathematics at the University of Athens and economics at the Economic University of Athens. He holds a PhD degree in economic statistics with highest distinction and is a fellow of the Institute of Sales and Marketing Management. His professional journey is impressive. Former head of financial services at Laiki Group, an assistant general manager, member of the Cyprus negotiating team, university lecturer and instructor at the Cyprus Academy of Public Administration, Judge of Public Works, Knight of the Vatican, President of the Cyprus Academy of Sciences, and Vice President of the Hellenic Cypriot Cultural Association, our esteemed organization. Yes, behind these titles lies a soul of a poet. He has published 11 poetry collections, 4 anthologies, 3 plays, short stories, essays, translations of Nobel laureates, historical studies, and scientific books. His work touches upon energy, philosophy, history, federation, Zeno, and much more. His poetry has been translated into 30 languages, and his anthology of 77 poems is now available at an e-book in English, French, and Italian, with more translations on the way from the e-books of Hellenic Cypriot Cultural Association that are available online. Iosifidis has received many distinctions. Best Poems, Best Poets in 2007 International Library of Poetry. Gold Medal Art Science Letters 2014. Grand Prix by the European Appel for his French language poetry 2019. But his greatest distinction is his voice, a voice that defends nature, aesthetics, dignity, ethics, rights, culture, and humanity through the power of words. Being a scientist and a poet is not a contradiction, it is a harmony. Mathematics gives form, poetry gives feeling. Economic structures society, poetry questions it. Science explains the world, art gives its meaning. Iosifidis manages to do both, to think clearly and feel deeply. He represents the complete human being, the logician and the dreamer, the analyst and the lover of a beauty. Let's now immerse ourselves in one of his remarkable poems. Listen closely. Between the lines, you hear again Cyprus, Greece, the Mediterranean sun, the Stoic philosophers, the Gospels, and the scent of mint. Mountain and Deosmos. Deosmos is mint. It sends water via the river to water plants, animals, and families. Not even a drop is held by the mountain for its needs. From above it sees life and takes pride, for what it nourishes from its innards, like the sun that all people love. For it wants no entreaties or castling, but rises, signs, and embraces the beneficiary, but the innocent benefactor. And only the mint, once cooled, turns its foliage to the mountaintop and says, "Thank you" to it, smelling through the mountaintop, has already forgotten the boon. As if I had heard my mother's birth odors, and as a boy I bought her perfume to make her feel calm. Epictetus was a Stoic philosopher, and the second part, that was for embraces, and the second part where the poet uses "thank you" to its smelling, it is a transcendental dialogue with the New Testament, especially for the single leper who returned to thank Christ for the miracle of his healing. Let's turn it in a Greek version. Βουνοκορφή και Deosmos. Στέλνει νερό με τον ποταμό να πιούν κάμποι, ζώα, φαμίλιες. Σταλιά δεν κρατάει βουνοκορφή για την ίδια. Από ψηλά βλέπει τη ζωή και καμαρώνει για όσα από τα σπλάχνα της θρέφει. Όπως ο ήλιος που τον αγαπούν, γιατί δεν θέλει παρακάλια ή καλοπιάσματα, μα ανατέλει, λάμπει και αγκαλιάζει. Ο άδολος ευεργέτης τον ευεργετούμενο. Και μόνο ο Deosmos, μόλις δροσιστεί, γυρνά το φύλλωμα προς τη βουνοκορφή και της λέει ευχαριστώ, μοσχοβολώντας. Κι αυτή ας έχει ήδη ξεχάσει την ευεργεσία. Λες κι άκουσα τις οδύνες του τοκετού της μάνας μου και μικρός της αγόρασα άρωμα να νιώθει ήρεμα. Dear listeners of Hellenic Echo, today we celebrated a man who builds bridges between numbers and verses, between science and soul, Iosifidis. Through his poetry, he teaches us the intelligence is not cold and sensitivity is not naive. They are both needed, now more than ever, for a better, more beautiful, more human world. Special thanks to all of you, dear friends, who tuned in from around the globe, to the Hellenes of diaspora, Greeks all over the world, to our Cypriot brothers and sisters, to every lover of the Greek word and world, and the Hellenic spirit. This was Hellenic Echo, a program of Solomos Web Radio TV, with me, Sissy, Osia, Sigioultzi. Until next time, keep thinking, keep feeling, and keep celebrating the greatness of Hellenism wherever you are. I love you.